Hello, in this video we're going to trace the pathway through our respiratory tract. We're going to follow an oxygen molecule as it goes in and where it goes in the body, and then we'll trace a CO2 molecule coming back out. So first we have an oxygen molecule, and that oxygen molecule is not this big, but I'm just going to be dragging this little guy around. This is way too big. There are not just trillions, but well, hundreds of thousands of trillions of these going into your nostrils each time you breathe. So you're breathing in. That's a result of we've got our intercostal muscles and our diaphragm both contracting. Both of those work to increase the volume of the thoracic cavity, which decreases the pressure, and that's going to take the air at normal pressure that's outside and draw it in to equalize that pressure. So this molecule is going to go in through the nostrils. It's going to be disturbed in its flow. It won't have nice laminar flow. It won't go in a nice straight line, but rather, so laminar flows down here, I guess, but rather it will get bumped around, swirled around by the turbinate bones that are inside of your sinus passages or your nasal cavities. Your nasal cavities will help to get this airflow bumping around so that the air and things within the air might stick to a layer of mucus. This yellow layer here is a layer of mucus that lines your entire respiratory tract. All of those cells lining the epithelium of your respiratory tract have cilia. And cilia are these little hair-like structures up here that can work in a single-celled organism to make it move, but in a multicellular organism, they'll be working to sweep bits of debris back up towards your nostrils or towards your throat so that you can cough or sneeze them out. So this molecule will come along here. Any bits of debris will be knocked to the edge and stuck there. It will also get warmed up and moistened inside of this cavity and go down past the epiglottis. The epiglottis slams shut when you swallow, but we're not swallowing here. It'll go down the trachea. The trachea has those arches of cartilage to support it so that it doesn't collapse as air moves through there quickly. Air moving quickly is under lower pressure. We don't want the walls to collapse. That's why they need support. It will go into either your left or your right lung, and your left and your right lungs are different. Your left lung has only 2 lobes because your heart is taking up some extra space there, and your right lung has 3 lobes. As it goes through, it'll go through the bronchi, this one here or this one here. There are only 2. They also are supported by cartilage, but as you get into your bronchioles, they will not have those supports. And so this molecule, it's now too big to even fit in here because I drew it so big, will go through bronchioles until it ends up at alveoli, little clusters of flexible tissue. And those flexible tissues are at the end of the alveoli, and they're like a whole bunch of little kind of spherical shapes. And this is all hollow. Air comes in, air can go to any of these endpoints, and the alveoli will expand a little bit as you breathe in and contract a little bit as you breathe out. These are the bits that are flexible. The alveoli are what change shape, they change volume. They're what's drawing the air in. Wrapped all around your alveoli are blood vessels. There are capillaries. I'm going to draw the world's worst capillaries here, where we have blood coming in from your lungs, which is deoxygenated. Low in oxygen, high in CO2. It's coming to your lungs to fix that problem, to get more oxygen and get rid of CO2. As it leaves, so it's coming in through a pulmonary arteriole. As it leaves, it's going to leave through a pulmonary venule, and it will leave oxygenated. So blood comes to your lungs, pumped by the heart's right here, comes to your lungs to pick up oxygen and to get rid of CO2. The oxygen that came in through your nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, past your epiglottis, down your trachea, past your bronchi, through your bronchi into your bronchioles and alveoli, now will do external respiration. It will go from inside, I guess I'll use come back here. It will go from inside your alveolus and go into your blood by diffusion, which is passive transport. At that point, it's going to come back to your heart. So through veins, pulmonary veins, back to your heart. And your heart will pump it to everywhere else in your body where it's going to drop off that oxygen where it's needed. So maybe that's in your brain, maybe that's in your arm, maybe that's in your stomach, who knows? At the same time, that oxygen molecule is uh, going to, let's say it's coming into your arm. At the same time it gets dropped off in your arm, it is going to, your blood is going to pick up some CO2. The dropping off of oxygen to tissues that need it and the picking up of waste from tissues that made it, that's called internal respiration. Once it gets inside of a cell, once the cell, maybe a muscle cell, maybe some other type of cell in your body, once it gets into that cell, the mitochondria in there are going to do cellular respiration. They're going to do the chemical reaction where we take oxygen and glucose and turn it into carbon dioxide and water, and in the meantime, make adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. So that CO2 that's created as waste here is going to leave the cell and go into the blood. Going into the blood, here's a blood vessel, dropping off oxygen or picking up CO2, that's internal respiration. The blood is going to come back through veins to the heart and get pumped through arteries and arterioles to the lungs again, where it's going to be right here, drop off some CO2 into the blood, into the alveolus from the blood, and pick up oxygen for starting the process again. So all these structures work together to adhere, our respiratory structures, just channel that oxygen down towards these blood vessels, these capillaries that are wrapped around your alveoli. They're wrapped around every single one of your alveoli, and they start this whole process going. The muscles that are helping to move your thoracic cavity to expand it are your diaphragm and your intercostal muscles. I did not try to draw intercostal muscles here because I have reached the limits of what I can draw. That's the best I can do. I hope this helps as you study.